Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Bluebet Stadium, where the Penrith Panthers shall be hosting the North Queensland Cowboys. Tonight in the commentary box is Blair Curtin, and with me on the analysis role is Lachlan Martin. Lockie, how do you feel about the game today?
Yeah, look, it should be quite a solid match. Both teams currently sitting in the top four. Panthers third with 8 points, 4 wins, 3 losses. The Cowboys 3 wins, 3 losses with 6 points. Both teams looking to put on a show here for the Penrith local, and it should be a good game to watch. I'm looking forward to this game.
Great to hear as both teams run out onto the field and we get ready for the kick-off. Morrison's been an absolute gun for the Panthers throughout the year since switching wings, while Cowboys have chosen to dominate through their forward pack. Lachlan, do you have a tip for us this evening? Who you think might actually do it?
Oh, look, both teams' forward packs sort of cancel each other out. I think they're both strong in the middle. You know, the second row pairing of Johnston and Kasaka meet Punch and Martin. I think those are very strong second row pairing. I think the back line will win it today. I mean, how good Amatungi can be, but he's had a bit of a quiet year so far. He'll have to have a big game, I think, if the Cowboys want to go close. I think it'll be a close game. I don't know which way this is going to go.
Lachlan, as Ole takes the ball, it brings it over the halfway after passing on to Sinclair. Hell yeah, drops the ball, but it's play on as Malka scoops it up. Hell yeah to Crutcher. Crutcher, bit of a bobble there as Panthers reach their last 55 metres gained off the set. Ole kicks to the corner with Moscow taking it comfortably, and it makes a bit of a break to get almost to the 30-metre line.
Yeah, a bit of an
Columbus
start there from Penrith. A couple little loose carries, nearly knock-ons there. Both were called back or off the head, I should say. You know, they have to be better than that. They want to beat this Cowboys side, who we know is very strong. Obviously, coming off the back of 2 back-to-back wins currently. They'll have to be strong here, Penrith. They cannot have those silly errors get into the game, because there was nearly a couple knock-ons in their first opening set there.
Absolutely right, Lachlan. As Lord kicks down to the wing of Fisher, but Chapman Kenny takes it and brings it, flirts with the touchline, but almost takes it to the 30. Ole onto Malkus. Has it been intercepted by the... Oh, it's been called for a high tackle. So not only has DePace taken the intercept, but he was taken high by a Penrith player, suddenly finding themselves a defender.
Disappointing there by Penrith. A intercept plus a high tackle. They'll have to defend well here because the Cowboys have been presented with a prime opportunity to open the scoring here at Penrith.
Indeed it has, as Moana brings it on to Johnston. Johnston tackled about 7 metres out. Wallace onto Moana. Onto bit of a loose ball. Disappointing end to the set for the Cowboys as Lachlan Martin scoops it up.
Yeah, good defense there by Penrith. They put a lot of pressure on. I think it was Moana there meeting. I think it might have been Luke Malkus just putting a shot on us. He takes another run here. Oh, that's a good run there from Luke Malkus. Ball came free. Martin dived on it. And the Panthers, that was a good defensive set. They needed to keep up the errors, but defense is looking promising early on.
Indeed. Very solid defense as Hellier brings it on to Irwin. Irwin spreads it, and it's another intercept. Kieran Wells with the break. Kieran Wells pulled down just 15 metres out. Neither team particularly strong with the passing radar as the pace finds himself over the line, and it's going upstairs. What way do you think it's going, Lachlan?
This is a try. Stays the pace too strong for KSK. Needed help there from Irwin and Daniel Punch. We're just looking at him, and that's definitely a try that's over. Meets the white line. Disappointed there from Penrith. Errors early on have killed them in this game to start off with.
Indeed. Both slides a bit sloppy as the green light comes up, and it is 4-0 for North Queensland with the kick to come. But yeah, both sides definitely a bit sloppy. Both sides' passes not quite finding the mark, and Penrith with a couple of little extra bobbles there. I think we've seen 3 or 4 intercepts so far this game, and it's been quite evenly spaced. As Wells makes the conversion, and it's North Queensland 6, Penrith 0.
Yeah, look, you could tell. Penrith a bit disappointed with that. They've had 2 intercepts to start this game, one by Ash Crutcher, one by Irwin, and although they managed to turn them away the first time, that second time there was no chance they will stop and stay the pace. They're on a roll. And we talked about the Cowboys forward pack. The Cowboys forward pack has got them those early tries, or that early try, and the Cowboys hit the front early on here. Penrith need to complete their sets, because at the moment, they're not giving themselves an opportunity.
Indeed, as the pace finds himself taking the run back, almost 20 metres out. Wallace onto Johnson. Bit of a hit up. Just pulled down short of the 30 onto Lord. And he's pushed back by good Penrith defence. 2 men on him. Wallace onto Wells. Wells makes another break to be wrapped up by Kane Chapman-Kenny. And all of a sudden, Chapman-Kenny's going to find himself out of position as Kalaskal gets towards the back end of a set after points, and Wells, a bit of a shallow kick to the corner there as Ole scoops it. Ole takes it back, and Penrith restart on the court, or on the touchline, 30 metres out. Lachlan, how do you feel about that return set after points?
Yeah, look, the Cowboys definitely showed a lot. Penrith definitely better defense there as well. That pass looked a bit questionable. The ref says play on no. Yeah, they definitely looked a lot better, Penrith, than that set defensively. They need to make sure they complete the set, though. It goes to nothing if they make an error in the set.
Indeed, it does. 4th tackle now on the 40, and Fisher makes a bit of a break and does well to keep in the field of play. But kick from Ing as not much of a kick there, and I'm not quite sure whether there was even an attempted kick there from Penrith as Law plays the ball after the handover.
Yeah, look, they've done that play before, but in fact, they scored the opening try against the Broncos with a similar play like that. Hell yeah, look to kick out for KCK. You could see KCK sort of waiting in the backfield for the grubber kick, but unfortunately, the Cowboys put the foot out. Ole got onto it, but it didn't mean nothing when Penrith, well, they just got wrapped up just like that as Amatungi with a good run.
Excellent run from Amatungi there. Perhaps a bit of the commentator's curse got put on him when we said he'd had a quiet year. Moana brings it on to Cambolo. Cambolo into some space, but brought down by sliding Panthers defenders. Wallace onto Johnson. Johnson onto the pace for another crack, but he is pulled down just a couple of metres short of the line. Wallace again onto Moana, who puts in the grubber kick. Diffused by Martin, and Penrith's going to start their set just about 3 metres out from their own try line. Hell yeah, onto Ole. And they lost ball, but play on. Lachlan Sinclair brings it back, recovers to the 10, and that's 6 more tackles. So there was a North Queensland hand in that play. Malchus brings it just short of the Panthers 20. Martin with another hit up. Strong metres there. Just past 25 metres out. Ole, Malchus back inside, just gets over the 30. Not too many Panthers metres so far in this set as Irwin wrapped up by the Cowboys as they reach the 40 and 4th tackle. Hell yeah. Onto Crutcher. Crutcher taking the kick early, and it's a big one. Finds the grass as Amatungi brings it back from just outside his try line and does just make it to the 20. As we see a bit of back and forth in this game, and it's a penalty for offside. Lachlan.
That's disappointing from Penrith. They got them into a good position. And then Hellier, failing to get onside, puts his hand out for the ball. I don't know why he would do that. Great stop there by Daniel Hellier. And the Panthers now gifted North Queensland another good opportunity here. Their discipline tonight has so far been poor. In the wet conditions, it needs to be better.
Yeah, ball security an absolute priority. You'd expect in conditions like this as Lord makes a break and makes an offload to Wallace, but Wallace goes through one pass too many and has been picked off by Cody Mansour of the Panthers. Onto Ole, onto Martin. Martin driven back across his 40-metre line. Mansour onto Ole, to Crutcher, to Chapman-Kenny. And Panthers still metres They do take a bit of a blindside raid. Morrison touches the ball for the first time in this match, I believe. Plays it to put. Sinclair takes a settler of a run. Only 20 metres in this set as we reach the set's end. Crutcher kicks to the corner. Moscow takes it on the full, brings it back across the 20 and through the first line of defence. They can't quite make it across the 30, wrapped up by KCK. Columbus onto Wells. Bit of an odd pass choice there, and Wells ends up finding himself having to take a hit up. Wallace onto Lord, onto Columbus. Columbus swerving towards the touchline, but finds the ground safely short of it. Moscow onto Wells. Wells tries to bamboozle them with speed as we come towards the back end of the set, and Stayster Pace takes a hit up. And we'll see the kick from about the Cowboys 40, I'd say. Or a bit deeper than that as Moana takes the kick, and it was either just inside or just out, but it doesn't matter because Morrison's got it on the full as well. Morrison takes it over the 30.
A good take there by Morrison. Just sort of putting himself in the right position as now KCK. They need their backs to take some hit-ups there. The forwards have done a lot of defending. Get their backs involved to make some hit-ups, to take some pressure off the forwards.
Irwin makes a break. Wrapped up by Amatangi. That's something the Panthers needed. Some quick meters there as we see the play of the ball. Onto Crutcher. Onto Ole. Ole caught with the ball though. And we see fourth tackle. Hell yeah, quick play the ball onto Crutcher. Crutcher. And he's thrown another intercept. Wallace has it. He's been driven back, but the Cowboys have the ball. Radar well off for the halves of both sides so far in this game in terms of passing, as Namana tackled onto Moana to Johnson. Johnston driving the Panthers' defence, bending the line. Wallace onto Wells, onto Amatangi. Amatangi with a little offload, but Wills is caught with it and they lose ground off the offload.
This is better than Panthers. Keep this up for our as I say that Lord makes a break. Commentators curse once more in action there.
Indeed, and I don't think the metres gain count is quite right because they look like they've made a lot more than 6 metres to me as Moana kicks from just inside the 40 and Morrison with another excellent take. Morrison swerving through, makes a half break to play the ball 36 metres out, and Martin with the hit up there. Lachlan, is there anything you're noticing in the Panthers' attack? I'm really picking up that the Panthers saying they're not moving the ball on passes to put pressure on the Cowboys' defensive line.
Yeah, look, the Panthers, they sort of haven't really, I guess, used a lot of their backline players in attack. They've used a couple of times. They really need to get some more players involved. We know how good KCK and Morrison are, but they haven't really been getting the ball from that. As that's a great kick and a great chase there. Trapped down now in their own end. They need to make sure they keep them down here now.
Indeed they do. As Lord, he's going to try and get it out. However, he can't quite get across his 20-metre line. Wallace onto Wells. Wells didn't quite have the time to do any playmaking there. And Johnston driving up, not quite to the 40. And most of the set gone. An early kick from Moana.
That
looks like a 40-20 attempt.
He does.
He has got it. Well, Cowboys. Yeah. Sorry, Lachlan.
Great kick by Moana. They really needed that. They were stuck in their own end. Brilliant stuff there by the Cowboys playmaker. Standing up when his team needed him.
And you're absolutely right. Couldn't agree with you more. Now, what can North Queensland do to capitalise on the field position they've got? Moana onto Cambolo. Cambolo couldn't quite put it onto his winger. Onto Moana. Not much of a play there as Moana caught with the ball instantly. A bit of an attempted scoot out of dummy half from Wallace and driven back by powerful Panthers defence. Maxwell spreads on to Takuri. Takuri and knocks it on.
Yeah, nothing really set for the Cowboys. They sort of just a bit of one out running. They had a little bit of attack with I think it was Terry Maxwell on that edge, but other than that, it was a bit disappointing there. They really need to be better than that to crack this Panthers defence because we know how good it can be. Oh no, that's another intercept.
Wow. I think that's the 4th intercept we've seen now from the Panthers. The Cowboys half seem to have really dialed into the game a bit more, but the Panthers haven't quite pulled it off. And there's the commentator's curse as well, as we see a knock on Cowboys. And the Panthers desperately needed that error from North Queensland. Punch takes the ball and brings it in. We have seen the 20-minute substitutions, so there are some fresh thoughts on deck as Irwin takes a run, but comfortably handled by the Cowboys defense. Hell yeah, onto Martin. Martin driving the Cowboys back, but put to ground fairly quickly as Diab takes another hit up, and Diab, fresh forward, makes a break before being wrapped up himself. Martin with a settler. Don't know if that was quite the play the Panthers should have been looking for then, as last tackle 20 metres out. Bomb from Ole, looks a bit deep, and it's as comes up with the legs.
Ash Crutchell with a brilliant catch there. We might have lost Blake Curtin for a moment. I'm sorry about that. Internet may be playing up on our end, but Crutchell with a great catch there. Take it above tier backs on, great stuff by the Panthers. They're going to kick to tie the lead here potentially.
Thank you very much, Lachlan. My internet did have a little bit of a moment there, I'm sorry to say. But I did see the Ash Crutcher try, and Ole will take a fairly simple conversion to square the scores up. Well, much better in attack from the Panthers there. What do you think the difference was, Lachlan?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. The Cowboys have had all the ball, and Panthers have had not really any big opportunities inside the Cowboys' end. There was a beautiful kick from Ole, and Ash Crutcher is a very small player. Somehow outleaped. I think that might have been to Terry Maxwell. He must have just mistimed this jump there, because Ash Crutcher sort of turns his body towards the defensive line as he catches it, gets it in his arms, and just plants it down. And the Panthers, despite having making a lot of errors in the wet conditions, tied it up 6-all.
Well, in these wet conditions, games are often low scoring, and when it's a low scoring game, it's easy to square it back up. As, hell yeah, onto Martin. Martin takes a run, but driven back by the Cowboys. As we see it go to Ole, to Chapman Kenny, who goes for a run. He makes a break, and it takes Almatungi to pull him down. Good meters there for Penrith. Looking much more energetic after points. A bit of a wayward pass, but diffused by Diab. 4th tackle now. Onto Irwin, and it's another intercept. Chris Lord has picked the Panthers' pocket and tackled in the Panthers' half as Columbus brings it in across the Panthers' 30, about 27 metres out as Kalaskow driven back a bit by the Panthers, can't quite crack their 20. Walmsley, fresh forward, breaks one, but brought down almost at the 10. Wallace onto Johnston.
Good tackle. They're
really going for the forward pack battering ram here, as well tackled by the Panthers. Last play now. Moana puts it high to the wing. Maxwell has it, but not quite able to make it to the line, and it's a handover about 5 metres out.
Yeah, Panthers once again survive, and they keep making these errors. They can hold on to the ball, the Panthers. They could be winning by a lot more, but they just need to hold the ball here. Not force any passes, just keep hold of it. Do simple footy in this wet weather, and they can definitely do work. I'll be all the Cowboys in attack. They haven't really ignited the Panthers despite having all this field position. They'll probably be disappointed with that, because with all the field position they had, they could be winning by about 20 here, but they're not even winning. They're tied 6-all.
Yeah, you're right. As a bit of a disappointing kick there from the Panthers. Columbus brings it back onto Lord. As Columbus, it looked like he was absolutely belted there by one of the Panthers. Couldn't quite make out who it was. As Tatara Maxwell goes for the line. KCK gets him though, and he's just short. Gambolo passes it to Lord. Lord wrapped up comfortably himself. As We've seen the Cowboys go into their shells a bit when they're close to the line on a lot of occasions here, and this is no exception as Moana tries to wrestle his way in. Will we see something creative here? No, we won't, but Kieran Wells almost makes it anyway. He's over, but he's held up.
Apparently they hang on here.
So,
they're doing a lot of defending, but they need to just hang on one more play.
And they do hang on as Moana, just a bit of a nothing play there on the 5th, hands it over. As we see the set start inside the Panthers 10 with Lachlan Martin pushing almost to the 20.
Yeah, the Panthers defense has been incredible this game, but they, as I've said, I feel like I broke around record. They just need to get to the end of the set and kick well, and the points will start to come, because their defense has been good, but they just can't seem to not make errors or get out their own end at the moment.
Yes, the Panthers' attack has been pretty blunt most of the time, with the exception of that brilliant kick to put Crutcher over, as Irwin takes you'd call it a kick. It's a bit of a nothing play there, and Cambolo is going to start the set right on the halfway line. Takuri, back to Lord, and Lord makes another break and forces Chapman Kenny to get involved again. Front line of the Panthers not quite clicking there. Almatangi makes a step, and Chapman Kenny. Ooh. That's a high tackle.
If Penrith hang on,
the ref is.
If Penrith hang on, this is an absolute monstrous effort. They've had about 6 sets in a row on their line.
Well, I think I saw someone ask if they'd ever seen a send-off in the SRL, and if there's another high tackle, there might just be. As Johnston takes the ball, dragging Panthers defenders towards the line. Wallace on to Takuri. Takuri's over, but I think he's held up. And looks like the ref provisionally agrees, but he'd like the bunker to make sure. And yeah, I think that's pretty comfortably confirmed. No try. This boy's defense at looks like indeed, as we reach last tackle and another set where the Cowboys halves have been caught on the last tackle.
Oh, brilliant.
As we see a bomb, and Putt's taking that pretty comfortably, you've got to say. And yet another Cowboys attacking Raiders denied. Punch.
I don't know how this Penrith is surviving this. They've had about 6 sets in a row, pretty much on the line. I don't think they've been inside the Cowboys half since they scored that try, I think, for about 15 minutes ago or so. This is an absolute monstrous effort.
Punch makes an excellent break and wrapped up our Matangi. One thing that I've noticed is that as we've gone through this game, when the Cowboys get close to the Panthers line, they stop moving the ball around. If the Cowboys start bringing it around a bit more, as we see a solid kick from Irwin and an excellent return from Maxwell, almost all the way to the 40, we might see some more. If we see some more spark from the Cowboys, we might see some more points when they're close to the line, as Wallace is well wrapped up after yet another Cowboys line break. Almatangi onto the pace. The pace in the dying shadows of the first half. Just 30 seconds to play. We see a final attacking raid from the Cowboys cut off again by good Panthers defence. Maxwell plays it to Cambolo, Moana, Johnston. Well, I think this might just be the final play of the half as we reach last tackle as well. Siren sounds, Moana skies it. It's a contest, it's batted back and puts away! Nathan Putt!
Only good thing.
Nathan Putt! Over the 10. And it's a length of the field try. Penrith 10-6 at half-time with a kick to come.
What an absolute moment in this game here. Penrith, they've just, I don't even know, they've defended so much on the line. I don't know how they have the energy to outrun him there. Got past Cambolo, and once he did that, no one was near him. A tap back gone awfully wrong. Putt got on it. And the rookie scores a late of the field try. What a moment for the young kid.
What a moment indeed. And what a moment for the Panthers 10-6 now. Ole with the simplest of conversions, even in these conditions. And he puts it over comfortably as we reach half-time. And we'll be back with you momentarily for the second half. And welcome back to Bluebet Stadium for the second half. Blair Curtin commentating, and with me in the box is Lachlan Martin. Lachlan, any particular takeaways from the first half?
Yeah, look, Penrith's defence was surprisingly really strong despite having a lot of possession. I think the territory was nearly all played in the Cowboys' half. They struggled to get out of it. It wasn't... The only difference in the end has been an 8-point runaway try. But other than that, the Cowboys should have scored with the amount of ball they had in their territory. I'm interested to see with Kieran Wells seemingly off the field for the second half, Houston coming on. I'm wondering how that changed their attack coming into the second half here for the Cowboys.
That's an excellent question, Lachlan, as Namana gets wrapped up and driven back on 30. There are a few changes come on in place of Irwin, who's had a bit of a dog of a game, you've got to feel. 3 errors and a penalty. Not sure if we'll see him back. Diab is on for Daniel Punch, and Ben Punch is on for Sinclair, filling out the Panthers as Chapman Kenny back into the field of play, almost to the 20-metre line. And for the Cowboys, as you say, Wells is off for Snow, and Kalaskow is off to make room for Hodgson. Of course, now it's the second half. The send-off warning we saw earlier has been reset, as the Panthers get towards the back end of their first set of the half, and Punch brushes off one to be wrapped up by Amatangi. And generally, you have to feel that both of the fullbacks had a bit of a quiet one, didn't they?
You have to agree that neither of them tracking 100 metres, which you usually see from at least one of the fullbacks in a game. Both of them only going running about 80 metres. Casey having 2 line breaks to Amatangi 3. Definitely quiet from them. They'll be looking to put their mark on the game in the second half.
Well, Lachlan, we know who has been playing well. The first one is, of course, your good self. 14 runs and 104 metres. While for the Cowboys, it's, as we see, Diab taking intercepts. And the Panthers get some ball 20 metres out. And Crutcher decides to go himself there while he had a man outside him, so not quite certain what he was thinking there. As Hellier on to Parche. Parche distributes it to Ole. Ole goes over the 10. And Hellier, as they try a short side play, and it's going to go out.
Yeah, disappointing there for Martin. I think he went out. I think a couple of the players overran it. Yeah, they did. It went behind Fisher. There wasn't really much room for him to do it there. Maybe Cowboys' hand, no, it didn't. And the Cowboys will have the ball back.
As Lord takes it up.
Overall, they just didn't use it.
That is very true. And Lord, who just had the ball, has had an excellent first half himself. He's made 7 line breaks and cleared 156 metres. And we think that might be a first half record just about for a forward other than a hooker.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily in terms of run meters, but definitely in terms of line breaks. I don't know if I've ever seen a player make 7 line breaks in the first half, let alone a forward. Probably a fullback's done it at some point with like 8 or 9 line breaks, I think Dingo at one point this season, but I don't know if I remember if that's a 40-20 right there. Beautiful kick there by Hugh Snow. That's what they injected into the game for. They really needed that, the Cowboys. Second 40-20 of the game.
They did. And Cowboys haven't done much with the 40-20s that they've had, really going into their shells a bit once they've got across into the Panthers' red zone as Cambolo starts to show some intent here. As we see it. Wallace onto Cambolo for another run. Sorry, there was a bit of a communications moment there. And Moana brings it on to Johnston. Not too much happening this set as Johnston's just short of the line. And Wallace has another go himself, and a bit of a disappointing end to the set from North Queensland.
Another opportunity that they've just absolutely wasted at North Queensland. I don't know what. Well, they haven't been spreading it at all. They've just been going one out running, and Penrith are just eating it up. And they just haven't looked. Honestly, Penrith haven't really looked challenged, but they've been attacking inside the 20. Their best attack pretty I've seen from the Cowboys have been between that 20 and 40 meter zone. Other than that, though, the Panthers just haven't looked trouble when they're defending inside their 20.
Got to say, I agree with you there, Lachlan. And as Chapman Kenning makes a break to be wrapped up by Hamatangi and nearly set this game on fire. Hell yeah is doing something a little bit odd out of dummy half, but it's worked. It's worked. Hell yeah's away. Hell yeah's away. It's a try. Another runaway try for the Panthers. 16-6 to Penrith at home in the pouring rain. This is absolutely electric, and there is a kick to come.
That's his fourth try Penrith colours, Daniel Hoey. He's having an absolutely terrific season. Maybe a smoky for Rookie of the Year with how well he's going at Penrith. He's really come alight in the dummy half roll. That time, a quick play the ball off the case cam made a break. Offside Marcus Hellier picked it up, ran. He had too much pace there and he got away, and the Panthers now looking to extend their lead out to 12. How much defending they've done. I don't know how he had the energy to do that, Daniel Hellier. Brilliant stuff.
Absolutely brilliant from Hellier as Ole puts it over for an 18-6 lead. And I think there might be a few people a bit surprised with the score that we're seeing so far. I know that North Queensland were a popular tip, and Hugh Snow prepares to kick them off. Broadly speaking, though, you've really got to feel that the Cowboys are going to chalk this up as a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, look, they've had a lot of ball in this game. They haven't really looked likely when they're in that side of 20, to be completely honest. Other than the face-to-face try, they've sort of just gone one out running, which hasn't worked at all. They really need to get Amatungi some ball inside that zone. I think the only outside back that's looked likely inside that 20 is probably Kembolo, who's had a couple of good steps. But they need to give Amatungi some ball. We know what footwork he has. If he can get some quality ball inside that 20, I think that's where the Cowboys will most likely go. Either him or Hugh Snow, who has great ball-playing skills.
And you're absolutely right, of course. Lachlan, as Chapman Kenny makes a break. How many more chances will the Cowboys get to put that pressure on, we've got to ask? As Diab takes an excellent hit up, bending the Cowboys as we reach fifth tackle. By Crusher to the...
Oh no, Moscow's over the sideline here. This is disappointing. The Cowboys really needed to get to their kick. They can't do that just after conceding points. Panthers will use this opportunity. This would be... The Cowboys cannot concede here, simply put.
And that's absolutely correct. As Moscow, he, as we see him, just pushed into touch by, well, it's Lachlan Martin, who we see driving into the legs there. Hellier takes the tap, and we're back into play. Martin driven back by the Cowboys just that little bit. Ole onto Malchus. Malchus handled comfortably by two North Queensland defenders. As Ole onto Punch. Punch makes a break. Then Punch through the middle makes an offload to Hellier. Hellier would love another double, but he's wrapped up 12 metres out. Chapman Kenny onto Pache. Bit of a bobble from Pache. Pache is another man who'd love to break a try-scoring drought. Hellier swings to his right. Crutcher, fifth tackle now. He's over the line, and the referee's going to say, "You've put it down." And he might have. I think you're right. Crutches
to get a double here. I think he's pushed out Amatangi, and I think that stays the pace. Couldn't keep him up. And now the Panthers all of a sudden, they've just keep ticking over the scoreboard. What's happened, Cowboys? I think they're shocked.
The Cowboys might have just ended up a little bit disheartened from all of the time they spent camped in the Panthers 20 with, really, got to say, very little result, as Ole lines up what is really a very simple conversion. And he does put that over to make it 24-0. Yeah, Lachlan, I really feel that the Cowboys have just been a little bit disheartened here, but they've only got themselves to blame. I'm really actually reminded of the Newcastle Knights, who, when they weren't moving the ball around, looked incredibly tame in attack. And that's what I've really been reminded of in this sort of game so far from the Cowboys when they've got down into the Panthers' red zone.
You have to agree there. You know, I think I've seen quite a few times Newcastle Knights been criticised, not really doing much when they're inside their own 20, sort of just taking one out hit-ups. That's sort of similar to what they've done here today. The Cowboys, they've had a lot of ball. We cannot deny that. What they've done with the ball has been disappointing. They haven't really spread it as much as they should have, and it's just been overall disappointing there here from the Cowboys.
Yeah, absolutely agree, Lachlan, as Martin's wrapped up right on the halfway line. As Crutcher takes it, brings it on. Chapman, line, wrapped up. Plays it, quick play the ball as well. Parche offloads to Malchus. And it's fifth and last tackle now. As Ole takes the kick, heading down to his right wing, and Maxwell takes it quite comfortably in the end there. And Cowboys are going to be working it out of their own 10-metre zone. Johnson makes a break. Johnson wrapped up. A good 22-metre run there from the big man. Onto Moana. Moana brings Cambolo. Cambolo, absolutely electric for a centre in this game. Looked extremely hard to handle every time he's touched the ball. Wallace takes a settling run to get them to the halfway on fourth tackle. Almatangi onto Lord. Lord so dependable all game. Wrapped up. They'll be kicking from about the halfway line as Lord plays it on the Panthers 40. Snow takes a few steps forward and puts it into the corner of Fisher. Fisher makes it, brings it back, and a decent chase there handling the Panthers kick return as onto Ole to Martin. Martin wrapped up there, tackled and brought down on the 30. Hell yeah, onto Ole. Ole onto Punch. Ben Punch, that is. And Punch makes it almost to the 40. Crutcher decides to run it himself and makes it just over the 40-metre line before being wrapped up and brought down. Ole takes an early kick, and it's not a very good one, as Maxwell into the Panthers line, brought down, and that could have been very, very dangerous as the pace. The try scorer from before takes another big run. Wallace onto Snow. Snow onto Hodgson. Not seen much of Hodgson. Makes an offload, though, back to Wallace. Not much advantage in it, though. As Almatangi onto Lord. And we've just seen this little bit of one-out play again. And I don't feel the Cowboys are going to get much joy with it. As Wallace wrapped up on last. And Columbus brings it to Lord, who puts a kick up. It's not a very high bomb. It's been tapped back, and Parche is away. Parche across the halfway line. Surely he's got to pass it. No, he's over the 10. He's going to get it himself. Parche gets his first try in the SRL.
Well. And only Parche has scored his first SRL try. I know we'll be ecstatic. We'll love that one. We love that one. The crowd goes wild. He's a fan favourite here at Penrith. They absolutely love him. And he scored his first try on home soil. A runaway try. And the Panthers now looking to make it 30 points to 6. It's unbelievable.
It absolutely is. Pache has wanted to get off the try-scoring duck for so long, and he's finally done it. You should have seen the look on his face as Ole takes another very simple conversion, with all the Panthers' tries being from more or less right in front. And North Queensland are just left to ask themselves, what happened?
Yeah, Pache, he'd actually been in that position before, if you might remember. I think it might have been last week or the week before. He just sort of got in that space like that. He did it again here, and this time he's experienced now. He managed to push away, and he scores his first SRL try. He'll absolutely love that, Pache.
Oh, he will. And the absolute class of it, making a break, and basically a 90-metre run to score from a primary pop forward is not an easy ask, as Pache brings it on to Martin. Martin driven back a little bit, and the Panthers playing very positively now. They've got some points on the board. They're liking to move it around despite the conditions, as Daniel Punch pushed back there. And Martin takes a settler of a run, just crosses his 40, and not a bad set after points, as Ole, that's not much of a kick. That is not much of a kick, and they're letting North Queensland back into the game.
Yeah, other than that one kick that Crutcher scored off, they've been a little bit disappointing in their kicking games today, the Panthers. They need to fix it up for next week, because there are some teams, when you had finals time, Manly Seagulls, Brisbane Broncos, that will make you pay for those sort of kicks. They need to fix it up, because it's not been great today.
Yeah, I really got to agree with you there, Lachlan. They've definitely been a bit weak on the kicking from Ole, as Johnston, well, he's over the line there. I think we might have a try.
Looks like we do. The bunker says yes or no. I think that's a try. No doubt about it.
We won't tell from that angle, but that's a try. Any day of the week, we're going to see a green light from the bunker here. And the Cowboys hit back. 30 points to 10 with the kick to come. And they certainly needed that try.
Yeah, they definitely did. They've had a lot of ball on the line. They're not out of it yet. They can definitely score tries quickly. They get 3 quick tries. Penrith still have to watch out here. But finally, the one-out running works out. But they definitely still need to do more in attack if they want to score 3 more tries.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct there, Lachlan. But it all starts with the first try, of course. And North Queensland, they've basically just got a bit of a barge over try there. They've hammered and hammered and hammered at the Panthers' defence. The Panthers have, and we'll be looking at again.
Yeah, I have to.
As the kickoff.
I think the Panthers, they've got a lot of spark, but I think they're out of their feet at the moment because they've done a lot of defending this game. The defense that will catch up to them eventually, and maybe this is the time for the Cowboys to start striking and finally get those tries that they worked so hard for, but they never got in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely correct. And I noticed Wells is on with the halfback playing in the prop 4 position as Cambolo. Jeez, you have to feel that Cambolo has been one of the shining stars of the Cowboys this game, as Wells makes a break. Wells makes a break, and he's wrapped up by Kane Chapman-Kenny. Offloads it somehow to Moana. Moana's wrapped up inside the Panthers 10. Cambolo spreads it to Maxwell. Maxwell's over the line, but I think he's held up.
What a try. So Cambolo was over, did throw the pass. Looked like Tintera Maxwell was over, but Morrison round the legs puts him on his back. Great game.
They've turned him over there and done a great job, as we see the expected red light flash up. So 5th tackle on the Panthers 10. The Cowboys don't kick it, and it's been knocked on, and Panthers to start from their own 10, and they move it immediately. They're spreading the ball around much more than the Cowboys, and it's really showed on the scoreboard, in my opinion. As hell, yeah, onto Daniel Punch. Daniel Punch beats one and offloads. Offloads it to Mansell, but not much advantage in that offload. Fisher into dummy half. It goes from Ole to Punch, and Punch is really, Daniel Punch in this case, is really pushing it through the middle there. Ole onto Malkus with a bit of a trick play, and Chapman-Kenny coming up the inside, but the Cowboys aren't fooled. They put Chapman-Kenny down on the halfway line. Bit of a short side play there. Martin pushing the defence as we reach the end of the set. And Malchus, it is, taking the kick, and it's a good kick to the corner, but it's just a bit deep. Almatangi made to play at it, though, and he's taken just over his own 10-metre line. Columbus onto Moscow. Moscow makes a break. Chapman Kenny, however, does put him down, and play continues through the pace. The pace on to Kalaskow. Good metres here from the Cowboys as they cross their 40, or they get wrapped up on their 40. Bit of a nothing play there, despite all the ball movement. As Almatangi with the footwork. Offloads it to Snow, but it's gone forward.
Yeah,
well,
the right
the Cowboys.
He sort of just floated forward there, but disappointed there from the Cowboys. They definitely had a bit of momentum there. 10 minutes left. It's going to be even harder for them to come back now.
Yeah, absolutely correct. I do think the ball pushed the right intent, though. And if only they'd done it a bit earlier, maybe this game would be a bit more evenly matched as the Panthers take another short-side attacking raid. And Chapman Kenny, so hard to handle in every tackle. Ole onto Malchus. Malchus with the settler. 15 metres out on last tackle. Hell yeah. Sends it on to Ole. Ole takes another kick. Bombs it. Taken by Mansour, but he's been wrapped up, and it's now a handover 7 metres out from the Cowboys' try line. And Hodgson, first tackle there, wrapped up just short of the 20. Wallace on to Snow. Snow offloads it to Columbus. Panthers' defence is not buying it, though, and they barely cross their own 20. And Wells takes another hit up. Halfback playing in the prop 4 position. Wallace onto Snow. Snow back inside to Almatangi. Almatangi looking dangerous, but the Panthers handle him again. Not too many metres in this set for the Cowboys. Cowboys kick early. Not much of a kick, and Chapman Kenny gets wrapped up on the Cowboys' own 40. Panthers starting the set inside the Cowboys' turf as Nate Put is wrapped up 30 metres out from where he wants to put it down. Diab makes a break. Diab wrapped up 5 metres out. Dead in front. Hell yeah, onto Sinclair. Not much of a play there. Sinclair plays it down. They go back to centre field. Ole doesn't look like he was expecting it too much. And the Panthers 5'8", wrapped up on 5th tackle, 8 metres out. To Crutcher, sends it back to Mansour. Mansour puts it in the air. Mansour puts it to the wing, but it's Columbus who comes up with it. Columbus wrapped up 3 metres out after taking the ball. And Moscow onto Snow. To Hodgson. Hodgson driven back. Second tackle, and the Cowboys haven't crossed their 10-metre line. Wallace onto Kalaskow. Kalaskow, third tackle, and they still haven't managed to cross the 10. Wallace onto DePace. DePace gets across the 20 and the 30 and offloads it as well. Almost to the 40 now on 4th tackle. In fact, they're over the 40, Hodgson, driving in the tackle. Snow kicks early. Not a particularly great kick. He was over the 40, but Chapman Kenny has butchered it. He's running to touch. Lachlan, do you believe what you've seen?
Yeah, this is disappointing from KCK. He should know better than that. You know, he's been in the SRL for a long time. He should know better than for that sideline awareness. Cowboys get a chance here. Don't know if there's enough time for 3 tries in a row, but they'll take this opportunity to the Cowboys, and maybe they can make the scoreline look a little bit prettier.
Oh, as the pace breaks a couple, wrapped up. Cowboys looking to attack here. Wallace onto Kalaskow. Kalaskow, yet another one-out play from the Cowboys. And with just 6 minutes to play, DePace, they have another crack. And the Panthers repel them yet again. Bit one-dimensional in attack here from the Cowboys as Johnston. Johnston, he's over, but I don't think he's put it down. And the referee does call held up. So they'll go back to the 10-metre. And will the Cowboys finally spread it? Yes, they do. But Panthers see it coming. Maxwell wrapped up. And Cowboys player to Wallace. Wallace with the grubber. It should be 6 again. The pace takes it off. No, the referee said it's not played up by the Panthers, and it's a handover. Lachlan, what do you think?
Another disappointing step from the Cowboys. They just kept going 1-out runs. That was it. And, well, they survived once more. The Panthers are too smart for that. They may have considered 2 of them, but considering how much ball the Cowboys have had, they should have considered a lot more than that.
Yeah, you're not wrong there, Lachlan, as Penrith make a break and Sinclair wrapped up nearly at the halfway. Bit one-dimensional in attack from the Cowboys, you got to feel all game, as Fisher wrapped up and driven back right on the halfway line. 4th tackle. Malchus spreads it to Hellyer. Hellyer caught with the ball as it's 5th and last, which means KCK will be sitting at dummy half. Ole takes a much better looking kick, and it's been taken by Tyra Maxwell, and Maxwell hit hard in that tackle bar. Looks like Morrison there in the headgear. Cambolo to Wallace. Wallace to Wells. Wells with a bit of a settler. Cowboys have taken a lot of settler runs in this game. Wallace onto Johnston. Johnston driving. He's always hard to handle. Almatagi, he's that half break again. Panthers line bends, but it doesn't break. Hodgson back inside to Snow. Try something creative there, but now we've got one of the Cowboys halves caught out of last play. The pace the ball goes to, bit unexpectedly, who takes the kick, puts it into the corner for Fisher, and Fisher almost makes it to the 20, but comfortably handled by the Cowboys kick chase. Ole didn't look like he was expecting it at that time either. Gets wrapped up 15 metres out, and it's full time. Well, in the end, Panthers have done this pretty comfortably, wouldn't you say, Lachlan?
Yeah, they've done it better than they'd expected to. Obviously, the Cowboys had a lot of ball, but in the end, the Panthers just propelled them and ended up taking the victory out. I think they definitely deserved the one point of how hard they defended. I think in the end, it's 50-50 because the Panthers had a lot more ball in the second half. A lot of errors in this game, 9 errors to 8. I think Panthers should look up a finals berth with this victory. 4th win in a row for them, and very solid job by Penrith.
I notice there's still a few more tackles made by Penrith there, 193 to 184, as Hellyer quite expectedly does make the man of the match, according to the stats. 22 missed tackles to the Panthers to, I think it was 19 for the Cowboys. And wow, so 275 run meters from Hellyer, 34 tackles, only 1 missed.
That's a pretty good effort.
That is, and 225 from KCK. What an absolute effort. Off just 8 runs. He made a lot of meters in that second half. Let's see the crowd favourite Pache off his try-scoring duck. 152 meters. More than half of them came in that sprint for the try line. 3 line breaks, 2 tackle breaks, and the thing will be happiest with overall, feet fight.
Yeah,
Lachlan, anything jump out at you?
Yeah, well done to Pache for scoring that try. Brilliant stuff there. Overall, not too much, Cal Irwin 3 hours. I talked about that during the game. Didn't play in the second half. That's his usual role, though. Both the wingers were kept quite quiet by Cowboys, who are usually very good. Obviously, Morris most notably. Only 39 run meters in this game, where he's usually up to around 200 or so. But they didn't need it today with other players such as Hellyer, who scores his 4th try and 3 in his last 3 games. He continues to play. He's in a purple patch of form, Hellyer. He's playing absolutely incredible recently.
He is. You said Smokey for Rookie of the Year earlier, and I think you might be right. South were pretty happy to let him go in that trade.
Yeah, it's been a massive turnaround for him. They weren't too fast without Hellyer going. And in the end, he's just turned around and he's really put it on for Penrith. He's been one of their best players over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Let's take a look at the Cowboys, shall we? Well, Thomas Wallace, 190 metres, you'd expect that. Chris Lord had a bit of a quiet second half. Of course, he only played 25 minutes of it. Looks like he didn't add to his line break count and only about another 30 odd meters.
Yeah, look, Chris Law was kind of quiet in that first double, though. You'd expect that with how much he did in that first half. He's still a very good performance overall and very good first performance from Chris Lord.
Yeah, bit of rocks and diamonds all around from the Cowboys, I feel. Moana kicked that 40-20, but he came up with 2 errors. Kieran Wells seemed to play better as a prop than he did as a half, truth be told.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if they maybe kick with Houston. I think Houston is the better playmaker. I think Houston is more a running player. He has a lot of quick play to balls, can, you know, get a few fends on. I think Houston is more a playmaker, more a sort of has a bit of a step to him. That's the way I'd be going moving forward for the Cowboys.
He does, and he sold a kick from outside his 40 to KCK as a 40-20, and that's something that always takes some effort.
Yeah, I have to agree there.
Aside from that, I think it's just been a pretty comfortable win all round for the Panthers, and I think that's all we have time for this evening. So we'll catch you next week. Have a good one.